the people who write the exam could do a much better job, but I think also it's a difficult thing to do because you're writing basically a standard test for the entire country of the United States. Yeah. And architecture is such a broad profession to begin with, plus the fact the United States is huge and each state does their own thing. Like, how do you write an exam for that? So what happens is that they I don't know how many questions are on each. Let's call it 100 questions, right? That's not a lot of questions really to try and cover, one of these big chapters of construction documentation or whatever. What was it? Construction documentation and services, right? Something like that. It's huge. So when you get the test, you end up having these really obscure questions that are super specific about a very detailed thing that in the cosmos of architectural information related to construction documentation and services is a tiny speck, like light years away in the universe, and they're going to ask you about that one fucking thing, right? And you get a lot of those. I will say that when I got to exam like 4 or so, it's weird. You get to a question, you have no idea what the answer is. But maybe it's because you've already taken a number of exams or because you have more information in your head. You can kind of connect dots that are not even part of the picture in front of you to figure out what the answer is. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm actually using information that has nothing to do with this question or this test, but somehow it's helping me figure out what the answer to this is. It's to say that the one-tracked mindset doesn't really work. You need to be able to work lightly in a way and kind of like bounce around between different things.
And you should, and so then you should, look online and see like which exams have materials and topics that overlap, because it might be more worthwhile to study for like 2 exams at once than like, 6 weeks on one, 6 weeks on the other, where really some of those materials could have helped you out on certain questions.
So I think actually as you go along, the exams become easier. Well, it really depends on which exam you're taking and the day of the week. But in some ways, it becomes easier because you're starting to build up a body of exam knowledge. This is not professional practice knowledge that's useful in any way, really, a lot of it. It's just exam knowledge. And then you begin to see the bigger picture which the exams are set within.
So you studied for a few weeks.